Sheriff Alex Villanueva originally shut down multiple gun stores in California as non-essential. This starts with the assumption that any business could be considered non-essential. Now, he has reversed his decision and will allow gun stores to remain open during this pandemic. A federal memorandum noted that this is one of the vital pieces of infrastructure in the country. Aside from the fact that lockdowns will create looters, people have bills to pay and food to buy. All this comes from a virus created because the Chinese government controls the media and would not let any mention of the virus out. Reverend Ronnie Howard Brown had the audacity to hold a worship service and was arrested as a result. This is not a news story out of Russia, China, or North Korea. It is from the state of Florida. Despite a lockdown order, he was found holding services. While Michigan and other states are allowing it, a sheriff in Florida decided that this was grounds to arrest a man. This is highly unconstitutional, as you cannot forbid someone from practicing their faith however they so choose. He was not forcing anyone to come to hear the word. The good reverend simply made it available. If someone was elderly or had any risk factors, they did not have to attend. All of this from a virus with a high survival rate of roughly 99%, which both sunlight and over-the-counter drugs have proven successful. We have been asked to delay non-essential medical procedures so that the medical resources can be reserved for those dealing with this virus. Naturally, liberal states are allowing abortions to go on unfettered because killing your child is something that cannot wait. Texas, as well as a host of other states, are banning abortion procedures until this pandemic is over, meaning that the virus is actually saving lives. Naturally, the abortionists are fighting back against this danger to their profits. However, the good news is that a circuit court ruled in Texas's favor, and the ban is still in place. All this from a virus in which the vast majority of people dying have pre-existing conditions, and thus the same people that would die from pneumonia. Meanwhile, the private sector is taking over where the government has failed. The CDC's tests are both inefficient and ineffective, so the private sector started developing tests that will do the job right. Ford is making ventilators, My Pillow is making face masks, and Northside Distillery is making hand sanitizer. All the while we are seeing regulation after regulation dropped so that we can deal with this. Central planning does not work because a doctor knows what is best for his patients, not the governor, and certainly not the HHS or the CDC. At least Cuomo is not demanding that the federal government magically fix a problem that he should have been preparing for at the local level all this time. Oh wait, what's this? At least California did not conveniently find a bunch of N95 masks after Barr threatened to prosecute hoarders. Oh wait, what's this? All this from a virus that Trump was preparing a task force to deal with, while the Democrats were busy with their impeachment nonsense. New York, as well as a host of other states, are releasing criminals out into the world. As a libertarian, I believe that we should release people from our prisons who have not harmed the life, liberty, or property of another person. Only those who do harm should be locked away. While some are those who have not harmed a soul, meaning the police are arresting people who did not harm the life, liberty, or property of another, others are dangerous criminals that need to be in cages for the rest of their natural lives. New York is releasing Class 3 sexual predators convicted of raping minors. This is the legal definition that I found. A crime is classified as Class 3 if the victim was physically helpless, such as being drunk, high on drugs, or sleeping at the time of an alleged assault, or if the victim was physically forced into submission, threatened with violence, or kidnapped. In what universe does it make any sense that these people should be released out into the public? All this from a virus that the elites hoped to use to blame Trump, just like they hoped for a recession. The Department of Justice is standing by a lawsuit raised in Connecticut that challenged the legitimacy of allowing boys to compete in girls' sports. I would like to point out that there are no female-to-male athletes trying to compete in boy sports. These boys are trying to get an unfair advantage due to innate biological differences. Either way, the crux of the argument comes from an interpretation of Title IX, which forbids anyone from being discriminated against based on sex. The DOJ responded by saying that Title IX mentions nothing about transgenders. Consider that the Obama administration would have cut off funding from schools if they did not conform to this nonsense. The Trump administration is actually standing by logic and reason. The porn industry is filled with violence and abuse. There are no two ways about it. Victoria's Secret models are fighting against the abuse that has run rampant in the company for years. Specifically from one individual, Ed Razak, amongst possibly many others involved. The allegations include unwanted approaches both in and out of the workplace. The Model Alliance was sent a letter by 100 of the company's models asking the company to reform its practices. Since this is a company that is out in the open, it will be easy to see if there is a reform, but other women are abused and locked into a lifestyle with no legal protections. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion.